Hey Doug, what you doing?
Hey Alan, so today we're preparing this bed to plant fall crops in, and we're just going to do a little preparation, weeding, and cultivation at the same time. So by that, cultivation I use as a term to describe a gentle working of the soil, just the top layer, top surface of the soil in order to discourage weeds from growing, and also just making the soil prepared and ready to plant in. So these are some grasses and some sorrel, which I'm gonna pull up and just make a space in between where we're gonna be planting some brassicas in the fall. So this is mustard that was here in the spring. I'm just going to leave it in because it still has the green leaves and still photosynthesizing, putting stuff into the soil, sugars and things. So I'm going to leave that and then just kind of use my hands to bring up the grasses and the soil and the purslane and things that are in here, to unhinge them a little bit, and I'm going to leave them right down on top of the soil so that they remain as a mulch on top of the soil.
So even if people have plants that are not producing, they should leave them in because they're feeding the soil underneath?
Yes, that's what I do. Whatever green plants there are, even all the weeds, everything are still photosynthesizing, turning carbon dioxide and sunlight into sugar, that they're putting a lot of that into the soil. So maintaining that while also creating the space for us to grow the plants that we're trying to grow for food.
So why pull the weeds out if they're feeding the soil?
Because that's the human side of this. We're trying to grow food, and the food that we're wanting to eat, the broccolis and the kale and everything. And
can you cut it as well?
You can cut it as well, yes. So I'll show you a couple methods of the cultivation. So leaving the mustard greens just because they're here, I'm going to leave their roots in and just use my hands to kind of just gently work the top of the soil, kind of like a massage. You can see sometimes there's a crust that forms on top of the soil when it's bare, and so just gently working that crust helps air and water to enter and come out of the soil for it to breathe. So these plants I'm just gonna unhinge a little bit, knock off the soil, and then just leave them right down on top so that they will dry out once their roots exposed to the air and the sunlight.
Do you have to take all the dirt off?
I shake the dirt off just to expose more of the roots, so that the plants are sure to decompose, and as they decompose, they're letting in some of the nutrients in their bodies back into the soil, and also helping to cover the soil until we're ready to plant. So I'm just using my hands to come through here, gently work the soil, pull up the plants that I'm trying to discourage from growing, and shaking it off, and then just leaving it all right on top, not throwing them away. These plants have done really a lot of work to help this soil grow, and taking the weeds and throwing them somewhere else is going to just take all of that stuff that they've been acquiring into their leaves and take it away as well. So we're trying to leave everything here, respect the weeds for what they've done and what they are doing, but also making the space for us to grow the plants that we're trying to grow. So as you can see, just pulling them up like this. And leaving them right down on top.
So they'll be like a mulch.
So they're acting as a mulch. Once they let out their water and start to decompose and dry out, they'll rest right on top. So all of this stuff was plants from last winter that did the same thing. So
looks good.
That's the cultivation and weeding easy.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
You're welcome.